a subtle hint about not having seen the allotment for a while, so I thought I would give you a quick walk through. There's not a lot to see, but I can show you the plans, and no doubt later on I might give you another one. So, oh, and hello to all your friends as well. So here we are, looking up the plot, and there's Glynis right at the top of the plot up there. We can see the shed is still there with the tree all around it, and the blossom is just beginning to come out on that tree at the moment. There's not a lot to look at the moment. We've got this bed here, which last year had the peas and tomatoes on it, so it's now ready. It's going to have the cabbages on next year. And if we go just over here, you'll see the cage, which will shortly be moved across onto that bed after some matting is put down. Obviously this had the cabbages in last year, and you can see there's still a couple of little tiny ones that never really grew. It seems a waste of time actually pulling them up. I'll take the cage off and leave them to the pigeons. See what happens. There we are. That's those. That's in the middle bed. And then if we turn around behind us, we will see the third bed along here where we grow marigolds. We actually grow these as a crop because Glynis uses the marigolds to make face cream. Here we have a bed that was basically technically left fallow. It was actually full of weeds, and we just let it do its own thing, and it's been cleared up, ready to go for this year. Oh, and this one had potatoes in it last year. When I dug it over, I found 5 new ones as well that had been missed, which was good. And coming around behind us, we've got this bed which also had potatoes in it last year, which has now been dug over. This is actually going to be matted up, same as the one at the front, and have the beans, dwarf beans and climbing beans. And this bed last year had the dwarf beans and the climbing beans on, but this year's going to have potatoes, just for a change. And over here we have 2 smaller beds. You can see the outline of them. They haven't done very well the last couple of years, so I'm actually going to dig them all over, make them into one bigger bed, put some compost on, see what happens. The path will be made wider so that I can get up and down with the mower. And over here we have the rhubarb. You can see it just beginning to shoot through. I do need really to get some compost put on that before too long. And here is the compost. It looks a bit of a mess at the moment. The cage is the pea cage, and that will obviously be moving a little bit. Here we have the raspberries, which are going to be moved, and Glynis's flower bed. And there she is, hard at work on her flower bed. You can get an idea that it's not exactly a warm day by the way that Glynis is dressed up. So, she's too busy keeping warm to wave. And here we have our latest project. This was going to be the cutting flower bed. We tried it for a couple of years, but it didn't really work. So what we're actually going to do now is we bought some little apple trees to grow in there, turn it into a sort of a mini orchard. There's a Braeburn, and then there's a Cox's, and a third one, which I've forgotten the name of it now. Anyway, there we are. 3 apple trees. They'll grow to about 4 or 5 foot and be quite manageable. Then up here we've got our little walnut tree. As you can see, it's not exactly little anymore. It does have walnuts on it, but so far we have come second to the squirrels. Now this bed is, we call it the shed bed. It's never really had anything much going on it. We tried to put some flowers on it. We've put all sorts of things. And there we have the shed. And the little trees, you can see the blossoms coming. That's a little plum tree. Has the little damask plums, I think that's what they're called. So they'll be enjoyed, mostly down here. A few get home. A burning pile, ready to be burnt up. And here we have the fruit cage, which has got red currants and black currants and gooseberries in it. And it's all been tidied up, ready for this year. Then we look back down the plot, you can see where we've just come from. And then over in the distance, the little car park. Today I thought you might like to have a little look at where I do my work, well, volunteering, part 1, Oxburgh Hall. So we'll just have a little walk up here. I've just arrived and I'm in probably what is the worst car park in the world. And staggering up the road we have Sally. That's the ones coming over towards me, not the people with the dog. So here we are with the lovely welcome people. But they always greet us nicely. I'm not sure how they greet the visitors, but they greet us nicely. Now this is the exciting bit where we come through. This is what we call our wow spot, because we get our first view of the house. And that is where I work. A place where the sun always shines, except when it's raining. As we walk along the North Terrace, we get to go over what was once a drawbridge. Through the gatehouse. Clip clop, clip clop. I'm on my medieval horse now. Clip clop, clip clop. Horse now. So we walk through the library to find the room that I'm actually in this morning. The fascinating thing about the library is this door, which when it's shut disappears, and when it's open we can get into the dining room. So I'm in here this morning, and this afternoon I shall be in another room upstairs. So I'll give you a quick look round. You can see we've got lots of wood panelling. One thing this dining room doesn't have is a table. The portrait up there is of Henry Bedingfeld, who was the keeper of the Tower of London in Mary Tudor's time. The fireplace is actually Victorian despite its look. And this door, when it's shut, disappears into the wall, a bit like the bookcase one in the library does. So, no way out. Door handle's a bit of a clue, I guess. So I'm off now to the King's Room. We need to go up the stairs, along a corridor, some more stairs, and we will be there and see the paintings on the walls as well, you can always see the paintings on the walls, can't you? As we go up. And along the leather-lined corridor. Up the stairs, and then into the King's Room. So this is the King's Room. Supposed to be where Henry VII slept, although we think he slept somewhere else really. So we have a medieval fireplace, and then we get Victorian panelling, but we can't have everything. The cabinet dates from the mid 1500s, 1530s I think. And up there is the way to the priest hall. Here we have a medieval spiral staircase, complete with a medieval handrail. This is how people actually leave the King's Room down here. It's probably about 70 steps between here and the ground. And this takes you up to another room that's above us in the gatehouse, which is currently not open to the public. This is the courtyard of Oxburgh, and we will be walking out through the gatehouse on our way home. That's the way into the tea rooms. And you've probably noticed that there's lots of arches that have been bricked in the walls. Through the gatehouse, past the original doors, over the bridge, and there amongst the trees are loads of daffodils. So that window up there above the arch is where we were this afternoon, and the dining room is at the end downstairs. Well, here we are, day 3, and we're off on yet another volunteering experience. We're going to go into Wymondham Abbey, where we also volunteer with various jobs. Mostly today we will be cleaning, but I will give you a look round the inside of the Abbey. If you thought Oxburgh Hall was old at 1482, I'm not sure if I told you that or not, this church dates back to 1100 and something or other, when they first built it. It's not all that old. Some of it's actually only Tudor, which is the 1500s. Here we are walking up the path towards the church. Oh, sun shining through the trees into my eyes. You wouldn't believe it, 5 minutes ago it was tipping down with rain. But I expect Andy remembers April showers, and that's certainly what we're having in March. It'll be noisy inside because the mums and tots group are playing around. So, see you inside. So here we are. This is where we'll be doing our work this morning in the sanctuary. This is going to be polishing the floor. I shall be doing the exciting things like filling up the candles and getting stuff ready for Sunday, which I will show you more of as we go along. But the first thing I have to do is move these chairs out so that Glynis can get in there. So I just thought I'd show you what it looks like, because when you see it next it'll probably be quite in a mess. This is quite a magnificent screen, but it actually was finished in, I think it was 1940s, I think. Something like that anyway. So it's not anywhere near as old, but these old seats up here obviously are. They're so old we're not allowed to use them anymore. So this is the first job that we have to do, which is set up the trays for Sunday. And you see I've got the tray there with 2 chalice and a pot with the bread in. And then we have over here the wine and so on. And in this cupboard there's obviously several more trays that need setting up for the services during the week. So this usually takes about half an hour to get all this sorted out. And there's the vicar's desk. He's currently taking a morning prayer. All the various rotas up there. The cupboards and things. And this is where all the vestments are stored. And there are lots of them, as you can see. Some very fancy ones are the ones in the covers, like this one. These are really special. So, there's all sorts of things in here. Actually quite a nice little room. As you can see up here there's actually a wickerwork angel, various folders and things. So it is a workplace. This. Well, here we are, deep into the cleaning, and the Glynis is up there polishing the floor at the moment, and I'm about to start filling some candles. I thought you may well be interested in. Probably not. That was my finger. So here we have one of the candles, and they're actually oil based. So inside is the oil. You can't see too well. I'll just take that bit out, and then with the aid of my trusty little pot, I then pour the oil in, like so, and eventually it fills it up, and I'm then able to, put the top back. Right, having done the candles, I thought we might like a little round. All right. Down this side, we have obviously various tombs, there always are in these places. We've got an old clock mechanism. Obviously there are tombs, which get used for all sorts of things. And then at the top end we have the little shop. Up over the window we've actually got what's called a funeral hatchment, which was put up when somebody died to show people outside that was who had died. So this portion used to be part of the old monastery, which is why there's odd things. And then when the monastery was moved out, you can see that there's like a second arch there inside the first one. We have the organ over here, and up in the ceiling there are angels all across the roof. This then comes back to the sanctuary with the grand screen at the back. This is an inner sanctum. This is where the choir actually gather. There's a small altar there where they have services sometimes. But you can see this used to be an outside wall, and this had been built on. They had a big extension done probably about 15 years ago. I don't know whether you can actually read that. Probably have to pause the video if you want to read all of this. Right. This is the... Sorry?
You probably don't put the water bottle.
No.
I'll remove that.
At least it makes the place look human, though.
Yeah. Right.
This obviously is the font where baptisms take place. The vicar calls it a Harry Potter font. We're not short of statues, as you can see. That's the Lady Chapel down at the far end, and this was actually built in Tudor times with money donated by Elizabeth I.
Sorry.
They're clearing up after the mums and tots. And we have something quite rare up here, which is a one-winged angel. Obviously flown into the water. As we walk down the north aisle, we come to the Lady Chapel. And we also see Glynis busy working away. Who's now finished with the hoover, so we can put it away. Obviously brings us back round to the sanctuary again. You probably recognise this view, but at the end we have the new extension. Remember when we were where the choir was? That I said that was an extension. This is the other half of it, with the kitchen. And then we see Diana over there happily washing up. For my friend in America.
Action stations.
Yeah, look busy. And like the other side, it's... carry on. It's built on the outside and going up. It's very large and airy. That's obviously where we do entertaining and have meetings as well, by the looks of it. And then over there we have the toilets. And then a view outside. And you can see in the distance is actually the ruins of the old abbey over here. So, that is Wymondham Abbey.